What's going on, everyone? We are back once again, and we are going to be continuing talking about In Zero. Today, we are going to be talking about episode 18. So, first off, if you guys have not watched it, go check it out and let me know what you guys think. But overall, I did enjoy this episode. It was kind of short and kind of rather fast pacing because we have where the gang is shown by the challenge of the time sorcerer, and she comes up with an idea of informing them, okay, you're going to go through a challenge, and if you win, then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give you a piece of information. So they're like, okay, well, let's go ahead and do it. So Shiki's first, and what we have is he goes up against a steel man kind of a character, and he wins, obviously, because he's super strong. And she even says that there are many alternatives of you may win, you may not win. The future is not set in stone, is what she informs him. And again, kind of gives them a little bit of riddles and saying that after, of course, Shiki wins, she gives them another alternative saying, okay, you can use whatever, but within certain boundaries. And what's kind of cool is that we see where, of course, Shiki is the first one. Then we see where Rebecca is the second one, and she goes up against another cuber who is very famous, but they start battling, having a shootout. And we have this funny scene where Rebecca actually loses a little bit of clothing due to something that the other character is doing to her, and it's really funny, and she just starts pounding this guy. And then all of a sudden, of course, the match stops. Now, I will say the animation, I don't know if it's me, but the animation just looks absolutely amazing. Very beautiful, very crisp. So my hat's off to the animators for this, but I really enjoyed this. But we also see where she asked if, hey, can I use Happy before the match started? And the time source allowed it. So she's like, yeah, let's go ahead and do it. That's no problem. And then what we see is, of course, next one is Wiser, and after that happens, he goes up against a really quick, like dog-like creature that can use ether gear to go extremely fast. So he's like, hey, can I use a weapon as well? And they're like, okay, I'll allow it. So he uses Pino, and what he does is he uses her ability for so she can paralyze him, and he just starts whamming against her. And what's kind of cool is we get kind of a little bit of a tidbit, which I'm going to tell you guys here in a second. She was not exactly sure what Wiser was going to do. And then what we get to see also is after the fight with Rebecca, she even states, I'm kind of surprised she didn't use her ether gear, or that's probably for another chapter in the future. So we are going to be seeing Rebecca get some kind of ether gear at some given point in time, and I'm really looking forward to that. And I think that's going to be very cool, not only for her character, but to learn something as well, because every time we can see a character go above and beyond, it's very entertaining, it's very cool. And then, of course, the last one but not least is going to be Homura, but she goes up against someone that looks very familiar, where apparently is her mentor, but it is not her mentor. It is a copy of her mentor that she has to beat. And so she gets kind of like psyched out, where she has to get into the mode of, look, this ain't my mentor, I have to be able to fight. And she starts fighting her, and of course it's messing with her head. You know, oh, you haven't learned this, you're still doing this, you're still talking out loud, you know, you still got the same moveset, I know all your movesets, I know what you're thinking. So we have this big battle, and Homura is getting, honestly, her ass handed to her a little bit. But then she starts fighting, and she even tells herself that she has to do this so she can find her master, you know, the fourth sister. And Shiki is, say how you say the name, I could be wrong. But what we see is that she starts fighting her, and we actually get a glimpse of what happened to Homura when she was little. What we have is when she was little, and her planet or her village or wherever she was at got attacked by some type of group or terrorists that wanted to take her to the Gillis to sell her off. And she was, I want to say, maybe 4 or 5 years old, maybe, if that. And of course Shikiri comes and saves her, and once this happens, she says that, you know, this planet's been so busy, and she says, well, let me take you back to your family. She shakes her head no. She says, do you have a family? And she kind of shakes her head no, and then kind of gets pretty much shown, she doesn't really have parents, and so she asks what her name is. She doesn't answer, but then later she finally says Homura, and then she gives her name, and she says, use your words. Your words will be able to get you strong. So once she realizes that she's able to face her fake mentor and be able to beat her and be able to use this power moveset, which was absolutely amazing. And when she does, what we see is her beat, and it's actually a robot, and what it is able to take on the form and install data of what they look like, how they act, and their move sets, sort of like what we saw almost, I guess, in like Star Wars, for example. Really gave me like a Star Wars kind of vibe because of what we saw in the comics of what Anakin used to train, like when he would train against, you know, Darth Maul. So if you guys remember anything like that, so it kind of reminded me of that. And I really enjoyed it. I think this episode was really cool, and at the very last minute, of course, they win, and the Time Sorcerer grants them to some questions and answers. So she tells them that Shakir is in some type of jewel planet. That is where they'll find her, and also that Mother is real, that her location is real, and that they will find her at some point. And she says that good luck to you, and she says don't let no one find Mother other than you, because if you do, then she could possibly go from the wrong hands. Of course, Shiki being Shiki, stating that no one's else going to find her other than us, and we are not going to let nobody get in our way, and that apparently the Time Sorceress has met Mother, but just don't know exactly when or where, because her memory was wiped and she was reborn into what she is now. So overall, a very good, thrilling episode. I think it was pretty cool. I think it was an alright episode. But what did y'all think? Did y'all enjoy it? Was it okay? Was it great? I think it was kind of fast paced, but again, that was okay. Again, I didn't want to see a long 1 or 2 episodes just them doing a silly little tournament. I wanted to get back to the main story, and I think that is actually a good thing, but that's just my opinion. But overall, what y'all think about it? If y'all are new to the channel, obviously consider about subscribing, leave a big fat like on the video. It helps greatly against the YouTube algorithm, as well as also click notifications so you guys are notified every time I upload. Really enjoy going over Eden Zero every single Saturday night, and maybe a little late, or check it out early tomorrow if you can, but let me know what you think regardless. And as always, I'll be seeing you guys on the very next video.